much the same way that many of you guys are having some weed control issues because the weeds are becoming resistant to glyphosate and some other products that we've been using. Metalaxyl is the key component in a lot of the soybean seed treatments and corn seed treatments. And metalaxyl was introduced, Jeff Kaiser. Where did I see? I saw Jeff a minute ago. Yeah, metalaxyl. What year was metalaxyl introduced? 85, 86. So there's guys here that were born after that, I'm guessing. So that's a product that has served us very, very well, but we're starting to lose some of our effectiveness of it, okay? So we've always been very active in seed treatment, looking at new products and various other things. And a couple years ago, we created our own brand, if you will, of seed treatments for soybeans called ProTect, okay? And what you have in front of you here is there's four rows of untreated, 4 rows of ProTect D, which is only a fungicide component. Then we have ProTect DI, which is fungicide and insecticide, so it brings some early season insect protection with it. And then over there we have what we call Ultra, and that's kind of throwing everything, including the kitchen sink, at that. So Ultra has Chloriva, which is a biological product that has some activity on soybean cyst nematodes, as well as Tag Team, which is a combination of some inoculants. Optimize, some of you may have heard of Optimize over the years. So Optimize is one of the ingredients in Tag Team. So, that's kind of your top of the line seed treatment over there. Today, you can't, these are 3066s, by the way. You can't see a lot of difference today. However, you can tell that the untreated beans are a bit shorter than the others that are treated. Jake was out here, I believe, about 2 weeks ago and measured these, and there was a stair step from every one of these treatments of the beans being about 3 to 4 inches taller as we went up into the different treatments. So we definitely are seeing a little bit more plant health as we up those seed treatments going into that. I know we answered an awful lot of questions on seed treatments last year. Again, I know a lot of guys, you're trying to figure out where can I cut some costs, what can I look at? We're willing to have that conversation of what's in our products. This chart actually is in your seed guide there, as well as some descriptions of what the ProTect seed treatment does and how it compares against some other products. The other thing that we did last year with ProTect is actually added a new ingredient called ethoboxam. And ethoboxam is actually a relatively new active ingredient for control of Pythium and Phytophthora. It's not out there in the Acceleron products, it's not out there in the Cruiser products. So, but it is here in the ProTect. And we've had some very, very good success with that the last couple of years using that out there. Plantability has been very, very good. We've not had any issues with planters. We've had very good, this year we had some really good stands that came out of that with the seed treatment in there. So, as we're talking about seed treatments, we can have those conversations, but we kind of wanted to point out what they look like here for you tonight. I happened to stumble across the source for Williams 82 this winter. So how many of you guys remember Williams 82? Raise your hand. Williams 82 were a very dominant soybean variety in Illinois, introduced in 1982. This is them. So we've got them in the midst of our conventional beans here, 2701s, 3306, and 3801, all very good conventional beans. One of the things that we've really been watching is how much taller they are. So I think obviously breeding has probably brought our plants a little more compact than what they were, probably as a result of a lot more narrow rows and drilling 15-inch rows, those types of things, versus the 30s and 38s that we used to have. So kind of put that in there. We actually have it in several of our research plots too, for our own curiosity, so we can see how it compares against a lot of the other things that we have today. We've gotten a lot of phone calls, a lot of inquiries, a lot of conversations over the past month or so about we're going to plant Liberty beans. So we did, in fact, we actually, that seed guide went to the printer in early May. We actually have added some Liberty beans to the lineup that didn't even make it in the seed guide. So there is an insert in there with some additional varieties. we're going to have we're actually just about spreads out about every 2 days in maturity, from a 2.6 to a 3.8. Every 2 days in maturity, there is a Liberty bean. These are varieties that we feel really good about. Liberty, one of the key attributes of the primary breeding program of Liberty beans, it's all about yield. So if there's a question about yield with Liberty beans, I really think that can be removed from the equation. It's very difficult to compare Liberty beans and Roundup beans side by side because of some of your herbicide differences and drift and some of those types of things. We tried our best to do that. We're finding very competitive yields in those scenarios where we're doing that, but to actually put them side by side and spray them with a conventional herbicide, sometimes the conventional herbicide sometimes dings those varieties, because we've unknowingly selected conventional beans to yield high in situations where we're using those conventional herbicides, if that makes sense. They're a little more tolerant to some of those burns that we get with them, so on and so forth. So someone was asking me earlier, well, we're going to have some new herbicides shortly, right? Can anybody tell me, how long does it take to get a new herbicide? If they were to discover a new active ingredient for a herbicide today, how long is it going to take before it gets in your hands? How many years?
7, 10, 12.
Who said 10? 10? 10 years is the right answer. So, good thing you guys showed up tonight. So who makes this, who gets feeling a little bit uneasy having this conversation? We got all these weeds, and really, we're kind of, all we're really doing is using corn herbicides to solve the issues in our beans, which is great for today and maybe the next 4 or 5 years, but we need to be thinking about what's going to happen beyond that. Does that make anybody feel uneasy? Yeah? So what we've got is the limited edition Pro Harvest t-shirts. Stay calm and plant Pro Harvest. So one of the things that we're uniquely suited to do is bring you all of these different herbicide traits on all these soybeans. So again, just to kind of wrap up my portion of it, let us help you sort through this. There's a lot of confusion out there. There's a lot of unanswered questions. Let us help you sort through a lot of that confusion and remove some of your angst and be partners with you.